Now, the RMT, on the other hand, I must say, are, I think, suffering somewhat from the number of strikes that they've called, from the loss of wages that has resulted from that. And they've got 4 days, as you said, planned for the first week of the new year. I am beginning to wonder whether they can actually sustain that, and whether it might not be quite as bad, whether more of them are going to go through the picket lines, that sort of thing. Seems to me that, they might have overreached themselves, but on the other hand, I did think that earlier, and so far the strikes have held good.
And do you think that what the government is trying to adopt this war of attrition in the hope that at some stage they will break? Because it does seem to be one of those existential questions. It's not just about pay, it's about the way that the railway is structured and pushing through, as the government might see, these reforms on staffing and manning.
Yes, I mean, I think there is a war of attrition going on, but all the signs is that tactic isn't working, is it? Because it's not only the rail workers, it's all sorts of other people, from the border force people to nurses and whoever, firemen and so on. So I think there's still a lot of public sympathy. It is surprising when you see the vox pops around these rail strikes, just how much support there still is. So I think the idea the government's just going to kind of fold its arms and sit this out, I think is misplaced. And I think it will cost it even further support. I mean, after all, the Conservatives are not exactly doing well in the polls. And I think that people are blaming them rather than the Labour Party.
Yeah, I think obviously that the Labour lead is holding firm, some 26 points ahead. But in terms of the question for the rail network, I mean, is this a time now where there is a reassessment on the performance of the privatised firms and what happens from now on? Particularly, of course, when all those people are going to be faced with rises of at least 5.9%, 6% effectively in the spring, just for their season tickets and off-peak travel.
Yes, I mean, there is this ongoing situation where the railways are supposed to be being restructured. But what the government has made a mistake in doing is saying, well, we're not going to give any pay rises until we get this restructuring through and we get increased productivity. But as I pointed out to an MP, I was having a debate with on another TV programme, which was that the MPs have had an 8% rise without any increase in productivity. And what they should do is separate out the two. They should separate out the productivity, which, there certainly is some money that could be saved, but it's unclear really how much, from the actual pay deal. These people deserve a pay rise, and I think the public recognises that. They haven't had one for most of the 3 years. The train drivers are paid very well, but the rest of the staff are not paid particularly well. 25, 30 grand a year is pretty average wage in the rail industry, and that's certainly not a king's ransom.
No.
So they should sort that out and then talk about productivity.